And speaking of extraordinary grants who call George Brown College home, please let me introduce our keynote speaker, Mark McEwan. Mark McEwan has been one of Canada's leading hospitality and culinary figures since graduating from George Brown College in 1979 as winner of the Red Seal Award for Scholarship in the Culinary Management Program. In the 80s, Mark McEwan became Canada's youngest ever executive chef at the Sutton Place Hotel, and he has since built an empire as the owner and executive chef of the McEwan Group that features some of Toronto's best restaurants, including North 44, Fabrica, By Mark, and One. Mark has authored 2 best-selling cookbooks and launched into the world of gourmet supermarkets, launched a line of cookware and a successful catering business. Mark is a well-known Food Network Canada television personality, where he has served as head chef on Top Chef Canada and hosted his own reality show, The Heat. And he never stops investing his time and efforts in supporting students and supporting our school. Where he leads, we want to follow. Mark McEwan.
Good afternoon, Madam Chancellor, Madam President, members of the platform, graduates, George Brown faculty, and ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed an honor to be here. My time goes back, as Lorraine said, to 1979 when I graduated. Started the business in '76, back when it was a very different industry. I went to the Nassau Street campus, which was in Kensington Market. I'm sure you're all aware of that. It was a very different place. When you look at where the college has come in these years, we have a world-class educational facility here. It's as good a rival as any in Paris and London, Los Angeles, Napa Valley, no matter where you go. We have that standard. And the greatest part is it's very grounded in terms of how it relates to the industry. John Higgins, Lorraine, and I have sat many, many times, and many other instructors at the college, to talk about how the industry fits with the college, how the training program, what is it you're learning in school, how does it prepare you for when you're actually boots on the ground in a restaurant, say for example, One in Yorkville. Do you have the basic skills for that? And I believe the answer to that is yes. What's interesting now is you sit with a diploma, or you will sit with a diploma in probably about 45 minutes, and then you say to yourself, what is my next step? You've taken the first. I think the second is, without a doubt, the most important step you will take. Your next 3 years, 2 to 4 years, say, will define the next 25 years in your career. My advice to you is to take it incredibly serious. Find a place to land, who you mentor under, who you work under, the environment you choose to spend this next 3 years in will be absolutely instrumental in shaping you in terms of how you react, how productive you are, how you fit into a group, how successful you will be. It will create your business card for you. So in my opinion, this next 3 years for you is the absolute most important 3 years in your life, in your career as a food service person. You say, how do you do that? How do I get my own television show? Well, you should back that one right up. The first step you do is you take your iPhone, you take your device, and you put it in your locker, and you focus. You land that job, you find that group of mentors that you're going to attach yourself to for the next 3 years, and you're going to learn that industry from the bottom up, from the front door to the back door of whatever establishment you find yourself in. When you create that innate sense of understanding of an environment, and you walk away with that in 3 years, it will accelerate your career by 10 years. That is one of the greatest gifts you can do to yourself right now. When I started out, I knocked on the door of the Constellation Hotel. I landed up in the kitchen of Joseph von Lanthen. Very colorful Swiss-German chef at the time. Looked a little bit like the guy on the Muppets, with the mustache. Funny man, great sense of humor, a little bit colorful, smoked incessantly in the kitchen, was an amazing teacher, was an amazing motivator. He was a person of character, lots of substance in terms of your relationship with him. I found I had a very, very close relationship. And the harder I worked, the closer that relationship came. He taught me finance. He taught me balancing of payroll and staff. He taught me office. He taught me all the cooking skills that I had in my first 5 years, Joseph von Lanthen taught me. I learned it in his environment. So that is the type of mentoring I'm asking you to try to find for yourself. That's not an easy task, but it's something you really have to put your mind to in a conscious way, and it will elevate your career far more than you ever imagined. If you stay for 2 to 3 years and you develop standout qualities for me with an employee are manners, an ability to work as a team, good listening qualities, that you're a very good audience for people that know more than you, that you absorb, and that you think about where it is you're working. You are working for a company, you're occupying space in a company, that company is paying you, and you have to understand that relationship. How you become valuable to that company is that you become indispensable to that company. A very quick story, which I neglected to mention this morning, was when I first became a managerial chef. I wasn't quite a sous chef yet at the Constellation Hotel, but I was a saucier. I was on service that night. George Kelmar walked in. He was the owner of the Constellation Hotel. Now, this is a huge, huge operation. Massive banquet operation in the back. The Burgundy room was the front section. I had all the lights out in the back. Mr. Kelmar walks in the kitchen and comes running up to me and says, "What's wrong with the back? Why are the lights up?" I said, "Well, Mr. Kelmar, we're not using it this evening, so I thought I would save the hydro. I turned the lights up." George Kelmar was my friend from that day on. That was the first time I had spoken to him. What a difference that made, and how he viewed me, my relationship with him, and how it opened doors for me. So it's interesting how simple gestures and simple connections with people that you work with make you a standout employee. As was mentioned by the Chancellor, manners, an ability to get along with people, being kind to people, being thoughtful in terms of how you message and how you teach people, and how well you manage situations. Then learning the business end of things. That, as a chef today, is probably your most challenging category. That's the one thing that will divide you from the others, is if you have the business side and the culinary side, and you have the gift of personality and an ability to work with people and inspire people, you will be an unstoppable force. So that is your goal in the next 3 years, is to develop that platform by which to manage that type of success. And then there's always being introspective. You should look at yourself in the mirror. You should be able to judge your abilities, your actions, your results honestly for yourself. Like, be hard on yourself. These are really simple basics, but they are the most important things you'll ever learn. Much of the industry today is so occupied with the Food Network, with Twitter, with Instagram. These are all great tools. They're really great tools once you have tools in your toolbox. But until you do, the best thing you can do is turn it off, focus, work with the people you're working with in your operations, and develop those base skills. It will prepare you, and your career will fly. That is the best advice that I can offer you. At that point in time, I hope you get your television show. I hope you have 30,000 followers on Twitter, because it's an interesting world, and it's something you know far more about than I do. But it's really a pleasure to be here today. I congratulate you on graduation. You must be incredibly relieved, but hopefully I've made you feel a little bit anxious and put you on the heels a bit, because walking out into the world, the next step is your big step. You can't lose that one. So good luck with that. Great to be here today.
Thank you, Mark. I would now like to ask President Ann Sato to come to the podium to say a few words about this year's recipient of an honorary Bachelor of Applied Business Administration in Hospitality Operations Management.
Thank you, Mr. McEwan, not only for that encouraging address, but for your outstanding leadership in the culinary industry. Your success as a chef and entrepreneur, as well as your tremendous support for our Centre for Hospitality and Culinary Arts, have moved us to present you with an honorary Bachelor of Applied Business degree in Hospitality Operations Management. As a valued member of our alumni community and the creator of some of Toronto's best restaurants, you inspire our graduates to set ambitious goals and work hard to achieve them. You've long been a champion of the next generation of chefs and hospitality staff, lending your expertise to program advisory committees and providing scholarships, culinary demonstrations, externships, and employment opportunities. We're proud to call you a George Brown graduate, and I'm delighted to congratulate you on your honorary degree. I'd like to invite our Chancellor and the Dean and Mr. McEwan, if you could come forward.